Chris Paul is out of LA. The Los Angeles Clippers, yes, those Clippers, gave him his walking papers today. Can you believe it? Oh no, I guess he'll have to go and retire at a better team. Literally any other team. You guys ever get that 80s feeling? Like you want to hang out with weird-looking people with bad taste in clothes and music? Oh, it's just me? Here's a short quiz for you. 2 questions with the same answer. How many NBA titles do the Clippers have? Oh, wait. How many NBA titles does Chris Paul have? Wait, what's an NBA title? I kid the 80s. I love the 80s. I want to go back to the 80s, in fact. I can't wait until I'm 80. I'm looking forward to the year 2080, when I'll be 101. It's the first time that the number 1 and number 2 teams will face off in the Big 12 championship. ODB says save your money. And the Chiefs looking to have a winning record after this week. We'll see what happens. For now, let's get into the picks. Before we get into this week's picks, I want to ask you to like and subscribe to the video. It's a big help to us here. Help us grow the channel. What do you think? We're not very grown, but we'd like to get there, and you guys have been great. I want to thank you all for your views, your subscriptions. Our channel's gotten a lot better, and yes, let's go ahead and do our picks now. Okay, last week we went 1-5 on the winners, and we went 3-3 on the over/under. A losing week, you can't win them all. But if you guys think that's going to deter me from trying again, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, we're going to include a big college football game this week with our picks, 5 NFL games and 1 big college game. I think you'll know which game, if you follow college, you'll know which game I'm talking about, but we're going to save that one for last here. First, let's pick Thursday night football game, Cowboys at Lions. The Lions are 3-point favorites here, and the over-under they're giving us is 54.5 points. Look, I think the Cowboys are making miracles happen the last few games here. But I am going to pick the Lions. Again, hopefully Goff doesn't disappoint us this week, right? 31-24, the Lions cover and beat the Cowboys. And that is the over. Next, we have the Colts at Jaguars. 2 big teams. I like the Jaguars to win 24-14. It is the under because they're giving us 47.5. The Colts are 1.5 point favorites, but you know, the quarterback situation not as solid as it was, and the Jaguars are looking like a high-powered team that are going to make a push here at the end of the season. So Jaguars 24, Colts 14. Next, we have the Bears at Packers. Yes, the North Division. The big NFC used to be called the NFC Central. Now it is the NFC North. And I'm going to pick the Packers to beat the Bears 34-28. That's the over. 34-28 because it's 44.5 points. The Packers are 6.5 point favorites in this game. I think they're going to beat them barely by 6. They're not going to cover. But the Bears are a tough team. You know, I forget the name of the quarterback they have there. He's really good, though, and it looks like Chicago's got a bright future in terms of their prospects here. Bears QB. Caleb Williams, that's right. Yes, I was reading about him earlier. I think Caleb Williams is gonna make a valiant attempt, but I do believe the Packers win 34-28, not covering, and that is the over. Next, we've got the Houston Texans going into Kansas City to face the Chiefs. A very interesting game. Now, if this wasn't the Chiefs, I would not even include them in our round of picks this week because they're 6-6. Now, the Chiefs are on a rebound right now. They're winning games, whereas opposed to, before when they were losing games. Now, can they rally? I think so. 26-10, the Chiefs beat the Texans. They're 3.5 point favorites. They're going to beat them by 16 points. But that is the under. It's 42 points they're giving us. 26-10, Chiefs over the Texans in Kansas City. I think Mahomes is just going to start putting it together here towards the end of the season. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Chiefs in a second here when we're done with our picks. Okay, last on the NFL slate that we have here is the Monday. And by the way, that Texans at Chiefs is the Sunday night game at 5:20 p.m. Be sure to tune in for that. We've also got Monday Night Football, the Chargers hosting the Eagles. Now this has a lot of questions. Will Justin Herbert play? He's got the hurt hand, but it's not his throwing hand. Will he play? It's a big decision that might come down to game time. Either way, I'm going to pick the Eagles. Now I know they've been losing. They haven't exactly been trustworthy. But I'm going to pick them to win 32-21. That is the over. 40.5 points. They're giving us 32-21. And the Eagles are 3-point favorites, so they are going to cover. Okay, that does it for the NFL. Now let's go into college football, the NCAA. And this is one of the biggest college football games that I've seen in quite some time. You've got number 1 Ohio State, and they're hosting number 2 Indiana Hoosiers. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the season here, well, I started this sports pivot on this show. Started doing sports betting. It was during week 4 of the NFL, and in the beginning weeks that we were doing this, I picked the Indiana Hoosiers to upset the Oregon Ducks. You know, behind the Fernandez brothers. They did it. They beat the Oregon Ducks in Austin Stadium, which was, you know, I've never heard it that quiet there. It was amazing. This week, they've got quite a monumental task with Ohio State University. I am talking about the Ohio State University, by the way. That they dot the I. Yes, the Buckeyes. You know, I've been watching college football for a long time. Ohio State was always a dominant team. And then the SEC came along and just really started dominating everybody. But it looks like the Big 12 is the big dog now. Some bad news for Ohio State. I think one of their prospects decided that he's going to go to USC instead of Ohio State. That's going to make it an interesting next season. We'll see about that. For now, I'm going to go ahead and pick the upset. Indiana beating Ohio State 28-24. This is the first time that the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country have faced off in the Big Ten championship. The last time that the Hoosiers beat the Buckeyes was in 1988. And if you bet the money line on the Hoosiers, excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. You get $165 on your 100. So it's a pretty good bet. The Ohio State Buckeyes are 4.5-point favorites, but the Indiana Hoosiers are going to win outright. And that does it for this week's picks. Thank you very much. Again, remember to bet responsibly, and we'll see you with our next 6 picks next week. ODB says, save your money. Remember Odell Beckham Jr.? You know, he was a troublesome player, I'd say, in New York, playing with the Giants. He came to Los Angeles and immediately flourished with Matthew Stafford. Had a big play in the Super Bowl when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Then he got injured early and didn't get to play the rest of the game. He has an article in foxbusiness.com where he shares the struggles of his $100 million career. And, you know, you really think about it, you know, these players, they don't know what they're getting into. You might think at home, and I do, of course, you know, sometimes think, wow, wouldn't it be great to have all that money? But, you know, along with that kind of money comes a lot of headache, a lot of responsibility. And not just that, it's like when you're a musician, you know, the record company is actually charging all of your promotional materials and everything they have to do with taking pictures of you and videos, etc. They're charging it to you, basically. You know, they're taking it off of your your future earnings. I would imagine this is what Odell's talking about, that he had no idea the cost that would be involved. It's pretty interesting, that even in this day and age, when you talk about $100 million players, that they're having trouble with money. Part of that, of course, is the higher and higher cost of everything. Hang in there, ODB. From my generation, ODB stood for something a little bit different. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Okay, let's talk about the Chiefs. Because the Chiefs hate. Let's just call it what it is. It's hate. It's kind of played out. At this point, they lost. They lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles. They're not the same anymore. All the stickers everywhere are starting to peel away. All the flags are starting to fade. The bandwagon fans, you know what I'm talking about. Bandwagoners. I never in my life saw so many Chiefs flags and bumper stickers before they became a winning franchise again. Some of these folks might have been, the ones with the Patriots flags beforehand. Just going after the winning teams there. Whatever. But it's a little played out. All the Chiefs hate is played out. They lost to the Eagles, right? And it's good. I say it's good. Get rid of the bandwagoners. Except for Taylor Swift. Okay, you can keep her, Chiefs. First of all, because she has a band. Secondly, because her ancestors probably rode in covered wagons. Just wanted to talk about that, but, what else have we got here on the slate? Okay, OSU, Indiana. Again, college football, it doesn't get any better than this. You talk about the atmosphere of the game. There's nothing like it. Not even in pro football. Not even in the Super Bowl. If you talk about the atmosphere, because these are students. These are young people full of energy, and they bring it for the entire game. I'm talking about the fans. I'm talking about the spectators. College football truly is, I think, the most vital and vibrant form of football, American football. The NFL is right up there. But college football. Come on. If you're a fan of college football, you know what I'm talking about. This weekend, you got OSU, you got Indiana. Can the Hoosiers upset, what amounts to the juggernaut of college football that is the Ohio State Buckeyes? I'm hoping so. I picked them this week. Why wouldn't I hope so? Anyway, it's going to be a bigger game than even the Michigan game for OSU, so far. Then we got the playoffs coming up. It's going to be an exciting season end here. And speaking of the season end, we'll wrap the show talking about that because if you've noticed, we're already on week 14. Is it 15 or is it 14? I think it's 14. I better check. It's 14. Okay. According to my writing, it's 14. The Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, and the Titans are all mathematically eliminated. Well, athletically eliminated before. Mathematically eliminated. That just shows you how fast the season goes. It's amazing. We're already at the end of the season. It seems like we were just getting started here. After Thanksgiving, it really is a race to the finish. You guys enjoy all this weekend's games. Tune in. I think we're going to do the show finally for sure on Friday next week because I just had to take advantage of the Thursday night football game that we've got this week with the Cowboys and the Lions. How could I miss out on picking on that game? Especially since I'm picking the Lions and they rarely disappoint.